Hello, welcome back to the channel. As you can see today I'm out with the Asta Gear Yun Chuan 2. So the reason I'm back out with it, as you see in the 16-hour video which I will link here, the tent either leaked or had a large build-up of condensation. Now the weather so far, this is the 23rd of October, and it's still very mild here, which is producing a lot of let's just say fog and condensation and stuff like that. So my aim with this tent this time round is to check the inside to see how bad the build-up of condensation gets. I think we've got perfect conditions. It's not freezing or cold, it's just sitting about that 9 degrees overnight, and there is a ton of moisture in there. So we'll see what happens in the build-up. If that drips in, then it will maybe answer part of the question about how the water was leaking into the tent. If it doesn't, and there's condensation and it just runs down the outside, then it may point to there's a leak. On one of the last videos that I did, a viewer had sort of accused me of falsifying what I was showing in the statements I was making. Now the eyelet was rusty while I was in the tent on the 16 hours of rain. You could see the water running down. It was actually running down and dripping in the centre of the tent in the morning. It was there. As a test, 16 hours of rain, and it was 16 hours of solid rain. That's no reflection on that tent. I seam sealed that tent myself. If it leaks, my fault, you know, I did it. Again, with the old internet, and especially around any sort of hobby or things that people are quite passionate about, they will sort of dive in there and get a wee bit excited about something that's really not worth being excited about. But to that end, the condensation test that we're going to do tonight, we'll see how bad it is, and if it drips to the same extent that the water was coming in, then that's answered part of the question. I'm going to re-seam seal the bits where I think the water's coming in, which is the tab at the top that the guy line is attached to on the two apexes of the tent. I think that's where it's coming in from. So I'll go over with this stuff. It's new. Don't know how it performs, couldn't find any reviews that made any sense on Amazon, but it's a replacement for the old one that you used to have to dilute with a bit of white spirit and stuff. This is, as you can hear, it is a bit more viscous, as I would say. So I'm going to put that on there, and hopefully that'll help to alleviate any water coming in, but it's not to rain tonight. All I'm doing is testing for condensation to see if that's what was dripping in the tent and not water. The modifications I've done to it, I think I have fixed the problem that a lot of people had with it, with the sagging on the between the two apexes of the tent. And the inner, that inner you've seen me use in the X-Mid. That inner is bob on. I've got no qualms with that whatsoever. It was out in some of the harshest and worst weather that we've ever been in. We were literally sitting what Sandie called a river. We woke up, it was just flowing underneath us, nothing came through. I think it's a 30 denier bathtub that's in it, and there's not a bit of water. Keeping the wind off us, it was great. I'm going back to the Yun Chuan 2 because I picked up the X-Mid 2 solid now. I don't need to use that in anymore, but I still love this tent. I think it's a cracking tent. With the modifications I've done, I think I've fixed the let's say the layout issues with it, how it goes off to one angle and the sagging in the tent, and I'll take you around and show you all the little things that I've done. I've managed to knock basically 4 pegs out of it. What I asked you to do with the pegs, I've done away with 4, so I think you can put this up now completely with 12 pegs, which I think my MSR is 12 pegs. I think the X-Mid is 12 pegs, and it all goes up absolutely fine. In fact, is the X-Mid 12? I think it might be more, maybe not, might be wrong. I'll put it up on the screen what it is. I'll take you around in a minute and I'll show you the little modifications that I've done just to make it that bit better to camp in. Right, so easiest way to see is have a look inside. It's not quite dark on the floor there. Now round here you can actually see the angle a bit better. You have got quite a bit of space there on the inside, on both sides of where the entrances are. And then one of the biggest complaints was see that there, the top touching the inner. Now you see there, it's definitely not touching the inner. See if we can see the new seam seal. So that's the new seam seal I've done all around both these heavily. I don't care what it looks like, it's just a good opportunity to do it. So these parts here, right there, as you can see where I put stitches in, so basically just gathered the material in and stitched it up. Here again is another part that I've done there. So two parts I've stitched the material in, which stops it sagging so much, and I've done exactly the same on the other side of the tent. Now how this tent is set up is that you're supposed to peg the inner out as well on separate pegs. And what I have here is these little hooks. So on this part here I've removed the string, put a bit of bungee cord on there, or short cord, what they call it, just wrapped it around a few times and tied it. Now this inner here, with the exception of the little quick release clips at the top, fits perfectly in the X-Mid 2, so I've left that on. So you just hook that round here, and that negates the need to peg it in, which was what you had before, was a draw cord and another peg that you had to put in. And I think one of the biggest complaints is it never really married up with the tent. So that's on this side, and I've done exactly the same here. So you can see the little bit of cord there, hopefully, running across. Again with this one, it's just hooked on here. It's another little clip, and you get these clips off of Amazon as well. I'll put the links to everything that I used down the bottom if anybody's interested in modifying it. But I think the key thing with the inner was putting in just a cut. I mean, you don't need to be a seamstress, you just loop it round, gather it up a little bit and loop it round. Sandra is at the moment teaching me how to use a sewing machine. I might have a wee go at making it a bit more neater. But you can see here, possible. I can see, you can see the off angle, and I think that's what the issue was. This corner here is not right. It goes off at quite a bigger angle than down at these sides here. Right, if you have any questions about what I've done here, yeah, just stick it in the comments below. But it is looking a lot better than it did before. I really do like the tent, don't get us wrong. I like my X-Mids, but I think this is a quite an underrated tent when it comes down to it. The old Lanshan 2, I had that for a while. I've had the 1 and 2. I love the 1. The 1's a cracking wee tent, but that's gone now. It's ripped. But the Lanshan 2, the condensation in it was just ridiculous. And I have seen there is a Lanshan 2 Four Seasons, which has got the separate inner, which might pique my interest sooner or later. But this tent, I think, is definitely worthy of another look to get it up and running again. just thought I'd show you something that Sandie did. So anybody's got a titanium mug, when you put the gas bottle in, they go rusty. So if you're doing like long hikes and stuff like that, the condensation builds up inside and they go rusty, and they actually mark the inside of these. Actually, the rust somehow sticks to the titanium. Citric acid gets rid of that when it happens. But Sandie came up with a cracking wee workaround for it. So I've got in here my lighter, my MSR pocket rocket, and what Sandie came up with, we got a little tab in there, which just made a little neoprene sleeve for the actual stove. So I'll show you the bits with the rust. You can see round there, they all rust round here. When you use these stoves, it's just that the coldness that's inside there makes them rust. So Sandie came up with this, the old sewing machine. Just I think it was an old wetsuit she cut up. They made this little sleeve with a little tab, so you keep it inside there when you stow it away. It's got a little tab that you can pull it out with so it doesn't stick in there, which I think is a brilliant idea. I think you can get covers for the stove and they stand alone, but when you put it in your pot, I don't know if I've got any marks you can still see, probably not, because Sandie's actually, as I said, she used citric acid on them, and you just get a little rust mark all the way around it, which can't be healthy. So yeah, a lot of work around. I think one of the other ones was that people put nail varnish around these. A lot of work. I think that's Sandie's little workaround. But she made these up, knocked these up for us. Okay, that's me done for the night. Settled in now, had something to eat. The weather outside, you can feel the sort of dampness in the air. It might have the desired effect to see how much condensation we get inside the tent. But we shall see in the morning if there's been any drips. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I do like this tent. It's a cracking, budget-friendly tent, walking pole tent as they call them. Right, I'm going to go into the old YouTube. I'm starting to research the Pennine Way. I'm starting to get those itchy feet sort of thing going now that I might want to be doing that next month. Not too sure, have to have a look at it, but that could possibly be my plans. Right, I will check in if anything happens. If not, I shall see you all in the morning. Morning. Quite an interesting night last night. The temperature didn't really drop that much. It was about 2 in the morning think the mist started to roll in and it got a wee bit damp. I think the height that I've got that at, I think the poles are 130 I said, and there's about 6 inch, yeah, but 46 inch ventilation all the way around. It's not an even ground. No condensation whatsoever this morning. The tent is bone dry, which didn't help us trying to test out to see if it was the actual condensation that was dripping, but it actually proves as long as you get decent ventilation in the tent, you won't get any condensation inside. Well, you'll not always not going to get condensation inside. Condensation will always get there, but yeah, what a difference it made. Dry as a bone inside. It was a cracking night for the wildlife in here. The deer come strolling through about 10 o'clock. They've just came running through again this morning and spotted us and skipped away that way. But I had a little visitor from, I think it was some little rodent was scurrying about, but yeah, there was no food for it. It was all inside the tent, and I've checked in my backpack, there's no gnaw marks on it, which you're quite likely to get in these woods. But the birds again did not disappoint. They're cracking on this morning again, but yeah, the noises in this tiny little bit of wood is amazing, absolutely amazing. It's worth, if you're into that sort of thing, it's worth a night in it. It's absolutely fantastic. The owls, I don't know what time the owls were here last night and this morning. The owls were having a long conversation about politics probably. Right, going to get packed up now. That's all I can do with the Asta Gear Yun Chuan 2. I think the next test will be in the rain again to see if I've stopped that leak. Yeah, the seam sealing that I did on it, it's dry as a bone, a bit rough and ready. The actual seam sealing, I'm actually standing here still peeling it off my fingers. It is completely different from the stuff that I used before, the stuff that I had before. It's like, I don't know if you can see that, it's like skin. That's been stuck in my fingers, just peeling bits of it off. Yeah, it's totally different for the stuff that we used before. I mean, we used to water that down a bit. That stuff comes watered down already, and it just dries like a film on there. I'll do a bit more research on it. All it's got on the actual bit of paper you get wet, it's for polyester and nylon and stuff, man-made fabrics and stuff like that. That's what it's used for. I remember the old Sil nylon sealant you got had little initials after it. I think it was nylon, was it NIL and NYL it used to say on it, I can't remember, but it was specifically for Sil nylon. That one there, it gives you no indication whatsoever, but we'll wait and see. The first sort of big bit of rain, I'm going to get this tent out. The X-Mid 2 that I've got, we're repairing that. That's the one that's actually been replaced by Dan Durston. We're going to try and repair that because it's still worth using. We'll see how that gets on with patching that leak, because it's right on the apex, the puncture that was in it. And we'll get them out, and we'll get probably a few tents out and get them thoroughly tested in the rain. If you get any questions about the Asta Gear Yun Chuan 2, just pop it down in the comments below. I will answer them. Right, thanks very much everyone for watching. If you do like the content, please like and subscribe. It will help grow the channel. And I'll see you all again soon. Take care everyone.